Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to 31 Days of Yoga. If this is your first time here and you're into health, fitness, and yoga-related videos, then consider subscribing to my channel. And then while you're at it, click that little bell icon to be notified every time I post, which through the month of January will be every single day. Today, I have for you a practice that will open up deeply into the quads. So we'll be doing several poses, asanas, to help release those pesky quads and help support your practice in later flows. So we will be needing 2 blocks, but other than that, we can just go ahead and get started. So let's pop into hands and knees. Spread out the fingers, and let's just warm up the hips a little bit. So drop the hips over to the left, sweep them back towards the heels, hip towards the right, and then pull them forward. Go ahead, continue with those little swivels. Good, and then as we come back up through center, let's go ahead and switch the direction. Good, and then from here, we're just going to come all the way down onto our bellies into Sphinx pose. So I forgot to mention this, but if you would like, you could absolutely use a strap here, especially if that foot seems really far away from you. We're going to bend through the right leg, take the left hand over towards the right, and then sweep that right arm up and over, grabbing for the inside of the foot. Go ahead, try to ground down the hips. If this is enough, stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, you can start to pull and then release. Pull and release. A little bit more, and we can start to spiral the fingers forward in the same direction as the toes. Release. So pull and release. Find some depth and let it go. One more. And release. Release the foot. Come back towards Sphinx pose. Wiggle it out here just a little bit. And then bend through that left leg. Let's reach the left arm up and around, grabbing for the inside of the left foot. Ground down through the hips. And then we can give a little pull and release. Pull and release. And then if you'd like to, you can start to spiral the fingertips in the same direction as the toes. And just notice here which side is more open than the other. For me, it's my left side that's more open, and that's kind of surprising because usually my left side is a lot more open than my left. But just noticing, taking these things into account. Once more, pull it in and let it go. Good. Let's scoop ourselves back up, hands and knees. Maybe a little wiggle of the bum, back and forth. And then we'll step our right foot in between the hands. Let's go ahead and gather in our blocks. One on either side, just to help lift and elevate the chest. We're going to lift that chest up, let the hips start to descend. So I want you looking forward. And then you can invite a little bit of movement here, side to side. Being really aware of our bodies as we do it. Good. Remember that the quads, so quad means 4. So there are 4 individual muscles that make up the quadriceps, the muscle group. So there's more so medial, more so lateral, and then 2 kind of more in the center of that quad. So we kind of want to get into all of the areas here. Good. As we're ready, we'll go ahead. Start to lift ourselves up. Interlace the fingers, take it onto your quad, and then press away. This will help to drop the hips down, and I really want you to roll your shoulders back. Keep your chest nice and stacked. As always, remember to breathe. Good. As we're ready, let's go ahead, slide the right block back. We're going to set our right hand down on the block. Now, if we're really flexible, maybe we can take this block lower. Maybe we can remove the block altogether. Either way, our left arm's going to reach up and then we're going to kind of move it over to the side. So it's moving towards that right back corner. Hopefully getting a little bit deeper into your hip flexors. Good, when you're ready, let's go ahead and bring both of our hands down. Let's just straighten out that front leg for a moment, little counter stretch, and then move that foot back. Let's switch. So our left foot now steps forward. Ground down into the blocks, peel the chest open, look forward, let the hips descend. And maybe inviting a little bit of movement side to side just to get into all the nooks and crannies of the quad. Excellent. As we're ready here, we're going to walk up to our thigh, interlace the fingers, press the thigh away as we open up through the heart. Hopefully the hips descend just a little bit, whether it's a micrometer or an inch. Remember to breathe. And then we can slide that left block back, set the hand down on the block, right arm reaches up, and then we'll kind of bend ourselves over to the side. So the right hand's reaching towards that back left corner. Keep it breathing. Good, and when we're ready, let's set both of the hands down on the blocks, sink the hips back, little counter stretch, and then step the left foot back. Hopefully already feeling pretty good in our quads. So let's go ahead, step our right foot forward once more. We'll only need one block for this round. So if we're feeling pretty open, we probably won't even need a block. We can just set our left hand down on the ground. If we know we need a little bit more space, set your hand on a block. So wherever we are, we're going to bend through our left leg, reach the right arm forward, and then send it back. Now, it does not particularly matter if you reach your foot or not. If you really want to reach your foot and you're not quite finding it, go ahead and use a strap. But otherwise, we can keep our chest open, keep the heel moving in towards the glutes. If we do connect, at this point, we can start maybe squeezing that heel in towards the glute, releasing, squeeze, and release. One more, just squeeze and release. Let that leg go. We're going to walk back up to the quad. From here, we're going to bend through that left leg. We're going to reach back with our left hand, grabbing for the outside of the foot. If that feels okay, reach back with the right hand, grabbing for the inside of the foot. Maybe we interlace the fingers here. Allow the hips to descend. Now, this is pretty intense. It's pretty intense for me. It might be intense for you. Let me know in the comments down below. Good, and let's let it go. Maybe a little bit of that counter stretch. And let's send that right foot back. Okay, left foot forward. You know where we're going. Whether we're utilizing the block or not, go ahead and set your right hand down. Reach the left arm forward, windmill it back. Bend through that right foot, maybe catching for the outside edge of the foot. Remember to breathe. And if we do catch, then we can squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Just one more. Squeeze and release. Very good. Let it go. From here, let's walk up to the quad. We're going to bend through that back knee. Reach back with your right hand for the outside of the right foot. If that feels okay, reach back with the left hand to the inside. Maybe we interlace the fingers. Allow those hips to descend. And if you're like me and it's really intense, maybe you want to descend and then back off a little bit. Descend, back off a little bit. A very subtle movement. Good. Let's release. Counter shot. Good. Let's send that left leg back. I have just one more posture for you. Hero's pose. So we can start just by taking our heels underneath our glutes, sitting back on the heels. If this feels like you're finding some sensation through your quads, stay here. Step 2, we'll open up the feet, allow our hips to wiggle in. If this feels like a lot, stay here. If you want to go a bit further, we'll start to walk our hands back. If this feels good, stay here. Maybe even pick up the hips a little bit, scoop the tailbone, and then set the hips back down. Once again, if you want a little bit more, down to the elbows. A little bit more, and we come down onto our backs. Roll your shoulders underneath you, a little bit of puffing through the chest. Now there is an option here, and some teachers do offer this, that if you are feeling really tight through the quads, you can set a block underneath your hips. Now for me, this makes the pose really intense, almost unbearable, so I'm going to skip that today. But if you would like to just try it and see how it feels in your body, because all of our bodies are built different, what feels good in my body may not feel good for yours and vice versa, then go ahead and just try it out. Now, if this is feeling super yummy for you and you can just melt and relax here, then maybe you take your Shavasana here in Hero's Pose. If you're ready to come out, we'll go ahead, try to keep those knees grounded. We'll just lift ourselves up, back towards seated. And then we'll slowly slide our legs out from under us. Go ahead, recline all the way back onto your back. Taking a more traditional Shavasana. Now, if you're in that more traditional Shavasana, you probably feel the blood coming back into the legs. Allow yourself to lay here at the very least until that sensation goes away. So know that your body is back within equilibrium. Ultimately, though, stay in this Shavasana for however long serves you. The light that's within me honors and acknowledges the light that's within you. And from the seed, from the source, we are literally one. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.